Actually, I'm quite short, so I'm going to go down way better. Sorry, guys. Hi. I hope you haven't eaten a lot. We've got some interesting case studies to show you about social customer service. Can I know from the audience here who works in social media? Wow. Awesome. Okay, great. Do you have a clicker, guys? Clicker? Where is it? 1980s? All right. Great. So basically, the chairman of JP Morgan back in 2006, he came out with a quote: "In the world of internet customer service, it's important to remember your competitor is only one mouse click away." It's actually quite interesting for a financial institution, a global one, to come and tell you about that. But he's absolutely right, because be it working with Merrill Lynch, JP Morgan, when the internet was still about to rise and people were relying more on face-to-face interactions, it was absolutely true. But what's even true about that is, I'm not sure if you've seen those tweets which happened about maybe 2 months ago. Balkis tweeted, Balkis, which lives in the UAE. She's a singer, and what she tweeted is, "Itisalat," without tagging them. "I'm ending my relationship with you. That's it. We're divorced, divorced, divorced." Brilliantly, we're listening to basically any conversation that includes Itisalat or telecom, and they replied back instantly saying, "Can we get married?" And they put a diamond ring. How awesome is that? Jumping on real-time conversations. So yes, your customer is one click away, whether you like it or not. Loyalty does not exist anymore. So you can try to do whatever you want, but guess what? A customer is ready to leave you in a click of a button, unless you really manage to create a perfect marriage with that person. We're living in an age where global economies are not doing that great, and honestly, any buck that you can save to your pocket is something which you will consider. We all remember the cover of those magazines back in 2006 and 2007, where it says, Time magazine basically voted each and every one of us as being a person of the year. We have the power in our hands, we're more in control, and we know exactly what we want. And that was yet at the start of social media explosion or digital, basically, expansion. Consumers' behaviors, whether we like it or not, are changing a lot, especially in this part of the region. According to the latest UNDP report, about 20 million Saudis are under the age of 25 years old. So we're really talking about a baby boomers market. Talking 65% of the population in the MENA region are under the age of 30 years old. So we really need to start figuring out how to talk to those new audiences. And guess what? They all live online. They all live in the social sphere. So this new audience we're talking about, they expect more. They trust their peers more. They're better informed than what we expect. And trust me, they know about your product much more than you or your social team or your marketing team know about your products. I've seen that firsthand when I used to work in the client side. And guess what? They have choices. Well, relatively they have choices in this part of the region where everything is a monopoly. But they do have choices. And most important is they have a voice. They have that click of a button on their mobile or on their computer where they can voice out anything they want, and they're not scared of doing so. How many of you are aware of the Itisalat Challenge campaign, which took place a couple of months ago? Great, everybody does. That was a brilliant example of showing you how consumers have a voice to talk about. Similarly, 2 years ago, the same thing happened in Qatar with Qatar, which is now called Ooredoo in Qatar, where people just went completely bullocks on the company. They're asking for better service, they're asking for better prices. Same thing happened with Al-Mara'i in Saudi, where Al-Mara'i decided to increase the price of their yogurt by half a riyal. Half a riyal, which is how many cents? Hardly less than $0.25. And people went crazy about that, and they decided to ban basically buying the product. Tariq Ghannam gentleman who works here in the UAE, he wrote this tweet, which is honestly applies to each and every one of us. Why do we have to go and complain online in order to get a better service? Why is it always the case that I will never get my rights unless I start complaining and I start making a big fuzz about things? Why brands are not caring about me and suddenly putting me at, being their center of attention until I start nagging and I start bashing and I start hating? And I'm guilty. A lot of brands here hate me because I do bash online a lot and I do hate a lot of brands online. Whether we like it or not, everything that we've been saying is there's a major paradigm shift that's happening. Brands in the past used to control what their consumers are going to be getting and what their consumers are going to be, who are they going to be communicating with. Nowadays, it's changing. It's no longer the case. You can reach the chairman of a company, you can reach bloggers, you can reach newspapers, you can reach all of the media people that you want and make a huge fuzz about it. KLM, one of my favorite brands globally, they really do understand customer service and they put it at the core of what their company stands for. They've not only put it within their social team or their call center team, but they've put it really within their whole organization, from top down and bottom up. Changing their cover photo every couple of days to reflect how much time it's taking them to basically answer queries or questions or anything of that sort shows you how much they're committed towards answering people and giving them the service that they deserve. Over here it says, and this was taken yesterday, we expect to reply within 24 minutes, and this is updated every 5 minutes. So every 5 minutes, whether the time is going down or going up, they change that cover photo. You're talking about somebody who's sitting there and not doing anything except looking at a dashboard, figuring out how much time it's taking to reply to people and updating that image. And that's dedication. Just going to take you through a small case study. I'm sure a lot of you have seen it, but it's always good to take a look at it and to really understand what this airline is doing in order to support its customers when it comes to servicing them better.
We are proud of our customer service. But you have to fly KLM to experience it. That's why, for 1 week, we decided to help out everyone, even people who don't fly KLM. To do this, we set up a special 24/7 Happy to Help control center at the Amsterdam Airport Schiphol, where we track down travelers who are in need of help. Of course, we found many people with help from our staff all around the world, but most by constantly scanning Twitter for hundreds of travel-related search words. Most problems could be solved in a tweet, but some needed a bit more attention. We had a speedboat taxi ready in the Hudson River to beat New York traffic.
Well, yeah, it's a lot of better than being in the traffic.
A car in Amsterdam to pick up passports. And a motorbike in Hong Kong to track down forgotten items. We gave Eva a wake-up call for her early flight.
Goedemorgen Eva, dit is je wake-up call.
Provided a comfy bed for passengers who got stuck at the airport overnight. A speed tour of Amsterdam for people who had a couple of hours layover.
Pictures, it will be gone in just a few seconds.
Sang a lullaby for Sean, who couldn't sleep. A honeymoon transfer to the gate for Tom and Kelly. And got Jill in touch with her boy band crush to get her through her delay. And much, much more.
You're going to be a flight attendant.
It's been amazing. We helped out thousands of people flying other airlines all over the world, with millions following what we did online. So to everyone who doesn't fly KLM, have a safe trip. And to everyone who does, remember, we're always happy to help.
So how much did this cost KLM? $10,000? $20,000? That's even less than doing a TV commercial and putting it out there in the media. But look at how much ROI they got on that. Look how much people talked about it. It's still happy to help. If you look at the slide over here, it's still the hashtag happy to help is always there. So they own that happy to help. It became core of what they want to do and what they want to stand for. Sorry. Looking again at two other case studies, Nando's in Qatar. So what they've done is this customer, Rachel, who they haven't really checked her profile to understand who she is. She ordered from Nando's, and it turned out she's a food blogger who really, keeps writing about restaurants, about food chains, and all of that. She ordered the food. 1 hour later, the food did not arrive. She called them back, and they're like, no, you didn't do an order. So she really ripped them apart online. What they've done, for 1 month after that, from that day onwards, they started sending her everything based on what her interests are. So one day, they know that she loves cheese. They start sending her cheese baskets. The next day, they know that she likes reading books and books relating to food. They got her a lot of books relating to food and sent them to her. Yes, they messed up, but guess what? They made it up amazingly. And now she's a huge fan of that brand, and she keeps writing about them. Is Muhammad here from, yeah, great. I told you I'm going to talk about that. So what happened is, Ala, a gentleman from Qatar, he's sort of an influencer. And what he's done is he found some ants inside his Oreo. Sorry if anybody here from Oreo team. And what he did, he decided to tweet basically Oreo and tell them that this is what he found. And he put a picture and he put a video in his tweet. And he said, KitKat, I wonder what your competitor KitKat would say about that. Oreo completely decided to disregard the tweet, but KitKat jumped on the conversation, and they told him, we don't know anything about ants, but what we know is that we've got this new KitKat Crunchy, KitKat Caramel, chunky, and it went even further to an extent of sending it to him all the way from the UK to Qatar. That's absolutely amazing. But Hamad, my question is, why did the UK have to jump on the conversation and not KitKat in the Middle East region? Still, you have listening tools, and you need to start using those in order to basically, this could have made a huge leverage basically for KitKat in the region, the fact that how they jumped on the conversation. But that's, again, a great case of how a company is really ready to go the extra mile in order to provide the customer service. Another interesting case study is Abdullah Sabil, a guy from Saudi, and what he's done is he tweeted for a gym, a fitness gym in KSA without tagging them, and he said, it would be great if you open around our area. What happened next is they're using a listening tool, and they replied back and they said, hello, can you please tell us where exactly is your area so that we investigate that further? What happened next is the most interesting thing. 300 plus brands in Saudi jumped on the conversation. Mobily jumped in and told them, can you please leave us a small area for us to open a shop for us as well to provide you with internet and all of that. And he replied back to them and he told them, that's great, but all what's left is now the restaurants. So Saudi Gas Company told them, leave us an area for that so that we provide the gas. And then every single brand out there jumped on the conversation. And that was brilliant. Again, the power of listening. Even Fuad Al-Arabiya jumped on that and started covering it. And the way that he said is the coverage of Abdullah's case is still on and people are talking about it. Is this customer service? Yes, it is. Why? Because he knows that the brand is listening to them. Customer service is not only about, I have a problem, can you sort it out for me? Customer service is about understanding what exactly your interests are, what exactly your wishes are, and how to basically address those. Organizations who are still adopting old thinking, regardless of what technology they adopt within their organization, they're basically losing out. And this is what we call ROI, not return on investment, but actually return on ignoring. Really think about that. There are so many organizations out there that really have the most high-tech equipment. You know a lot about them. We talked about that before. But basically, they're really losing on that. Some of those, National Bonds, a great company where a lot of people made a lot of money from them. But guess what? That person basically told them that I've been trying to call you and nobody's picking up. And they replied back and said, we apologize, could you please let us know about your concern? Perhaps we'll help you. So he told them, no, thank you, but it seems you don't want my money. So guess what? They lost on that customer. This is somebody who's ready to give you money, somebody who's ready to invest with you, and all you reply to them is, he's trying to call you. The least you could do is just call them back. Again, a very interesting tweet, somebody sent to do tweets telling them that your customer service is really awful, so I should see whether I switch to Etisalat. And what Etisalat does, replied just like a machine, automatically, we apologize for the inconvenience, please DM us your details so that we get in touch with you. So what does that have to do with any inconvenience? The guy is telling them, I'm ready to move to you. Jump on that and gain that person as a customer. Hug your haters because they're not the ones to blame. They're the ones to blame. You're the one to be blamed if you are ignoring them. You're the only one. Understand their case because many times they're right. Yes, there are a lot of people who like to complain just for the sake of complaining, but a lot of people have major issues, and you gotta sort those out. So hug them, because you can win them over so easily. So ignoring the social chatter is something you can't afford to do anymore. We used to do it before, but it can't happen. You know why? Because people are ready to go the extra mile in order to really take your brand down or take your brand up. You gotta listen and monitor. There are a lot of tools out there. Some of them are paid, some of them are free, but there are so many of them. Investigate, check which ones work better for you. Reply promptly to people. People don't want to wait. I'm tweeting to you for a reason. I want an immediate answer and not an automated answer. So I would have easily called your call center, but unfortunately most of the call centers are either based in India or based somewhere else where you gotta explain a million things to them. Make life easier. This is the job of a call center or basically of a social team. Why are you on the social if you don't want to provide any solutions? I admit, I've got one of our clients who basically are on social media, and every time there is a complaint, the client tells us, tell them to call the call center. So it's just like, great, I'm on social, but then you're throwing me back to call the call center. People don't want that. People know the call center number. If they want to call it, they would have called it. Entertain, but don't waste people's time. So somebody's in trouble, don't reply back, we're sorry for the inconvenience, DM your number. Talk to them. All it takes is just clicking on their profile, understanding who they are, going to LinkedIn or going to Facebook, really understanding who those people, and talk to them on a human level. You'll make them forget their problem. Jump on opportunities. We saw the one of Abdullah about talking to the fitness gym. So this is an opportunity for any brand out there. Great, everybody laughed about it, but then it's an opportunity for a brand to really open a conversation with him and understand what exactly is he interested in. Please be human, not a machine. Please. Stop those auto-replies. Facebook just integrated those messages where automated, you can just click on them. I hate those. And I don't know why Facebook did those. They really irritate people. The reply which I hate the most is please DM me your contact details. I don't understand why I need to do that if every time I'm getting it from every single brand out there. And hire the right team. And when I talk about hire the right team, in the agency what we do is before we allocate team members on accounts, we do an exercise with them to really try to find out what exactly are their passion. I can't put a person on a certain business if they don't like that business. I really need to understand if they, adhere to it, if they love it, if they live it. And trust me, once you do that, they will start owning the brand like never before. Got this guy over there, he works on KitKat, and he loves the brand. The guy sitting here. And it's great, because the way he talks about the brand, he takes it very personally. And that's what's so important, because he will go the extra mile in order to make sure the brand is performing great. And integrate your online customer service with your offline customer service. I used to work in Virgin Mobile in Qatar, and what we did is the social team, we integrated them with the call center team, so that we really try to understand what call center are getting in terms of queries or complaints, and so that we tell them what's happening on the online. So we kind of married both those complaints together or praises, and we built on those. Don't make them disconnected. Again, I say this very much so for the banking industry, for the telecom industry, and the aviation industry, who are really, they have their departments working in silos, and I really hope you integrate that. It's not hard at all. Again, about not being a machine. Look at those two replies from Emirates MBD and from Etisalat. They're really the same. We regret to hear about your experience. Please send us your mobile number. Great, but you know what? All it takes is to go to, and I've seen this in a bank, all you need to do is go to Alex, basically in your system, and you'll be able to get his mobile number. So why are you asking it? He's already a customer with you. So why complicate people's lives? Integrate. You have all the systems in place. Just use them. Another interesting case for people who come from Egypt know about this coffee shop. It's called TBS. So what they've done is they've introduced a new sweet dessert, and it turned out there's something wrong with it. So 26 people basically got poisoned. Things started going all over the place online. The newspapers started covering it. What happened is the owner of TBS decided to personally get involved. And they got the contact details of the 26 people. They paid for their hospitalization, and they kept checking with them. They went even further to investigate what was the problem in the food. They discontinued the product. They went really the extra mile, where the owner himself got involved. So just series of emails going back and forth with everybody, and this happened with every single person. Even for the people who didn't go to the hospital, who were at home, a private doctor was coming every single day, checking on those people and making sure that they're good. You know what? People will forget about this case. Yes, they got poisoned. But because the brand really cared for them and really helped them, there's nothing out there to be angry. We're working closely with Socialbakers and Brandwatch, where we built a command center within the agency. And that command center is helping us in a way, number one, seeing what's the response time on the brands we're working on, and comparing that response time with basically what competition is doing or what the industry is doing. And that's really giving us a lot of leeway. What you're seeing right now is just a sample, it's not the real thing. You're more than happy to come on to the agency and see it live. And it's been helping us a lot in really understanding how we're doing things and what's working, what's not working. So it goes from Facebook to Twitter to all the channels. As for with Brandwatch, from a listening point of view, again, we take a look at the share of voice of a brand online. How is it doing versus competition? Whenever we do a campaign, how is competition doing? And how is our hashtag doing versus their hashtag? This is for agencies and clients, but for agencies, it's helping us a lot with pitches, because we're able to figure out everything that people are talking about a brand online and giving us a lot of insights for when we're pitching. As for brands, it's really helpful because you get to compare your brand versus others. What we're doing even more is we're producing like monthly FAQ sheets where it includes most of the questions that customers are asking us for, or questions that people are asking online about a certain category, be it fast food or anything of that sort. And we send it to the client so that they get to understand what are either their existing customers or what are people who are fans of a certain vertical talking about. And we're addressing this in our communication, be it the content calendars or anything of that sort. Even one step further is we look at complaints, what our existing customers are complaining about. So we group those and we get to see, are things being tackled or not tackled? So we were able to see in, for instance, Saudi, they have a problem with the delivery. In Egypt, they've got a problem with their call center. In UAE, they've got a problem with their prices. And this is really helpful because, again, this is being integrated within your business. Social media is not a separate entity. It's part of the core of your business. So it's going back to the PR team, it's going back to the marketing team, it's going back to the media team, where everybody is really not, understanding what's going on. And we present this to our clients, including all those departments. Last but not least is there are a lot of brands out there. Whenever they post anything online, you'll find people jumping and telling them, we love you and we love this, and liking it. We've decided, and somebody talked before, I think it was you, Fuad, about influence marketing. Yes, there are a lot of influencers out there. What's happening, unfortunately, is for one tweet from those influencers, you gotta pay 2,000 dirhams, 3,000 dirhams. Is it really about number of followers or about relevance? And this is where we're working very closely with brand ambassadors or people who actually love your brand so much that they're ready to talk about it. And guess what? Free of charge. All what it takes is just making sure you invite them before an event takes place, making sure you really show them how important they are. If there is a new product we're launching, we give them that product before it's introduced to the market. So just putting them at the forefront of what we're doing. Last but not least, newsroom concept. So what we do is we look at the industries we have. One of our clients here, Al-Futtaim Automotive Group, and what we do is we work closely with them on the newsroom concept, where we look at what news is being coming out globally. So let's say the inventor of the automobile, his birthday was, let's say he turned 91 years old. I'm just giving an example. So what we do is we see how we could integrate that within AFAG's social channels to create, an idea about it. And it's applicable to every single industry out there. And it's paying off a lot. Be it a football match, be it a basketball match, whatever it is. Thanks. Any questions?